going on? Here, Skunk here with another review, Faeries. Today we're playing a control list, and we are about to play against some Valakut, Ravinca Valakut. So Valakut is a tougher opponent, partially because you have to know all the interactions between Valakut and how it goes off in the first place and how Valakut works. So we'll do some explaining of that as well as we go along. However, so our opponent goes first. We draw. We like our 7. We got 3 land. We got fencing, Mastermind, Bitter Blossom, Sleep Curse Faerie. So we're happy on what we have. We have probably our best start with Sleep Curse Faerie and then Bitter Blossom. It's slow, but when we turn the corner, we're gonna have a lot going on for us. Snapcaster Mage is kind of weak in this, for a first draw, but we're not mad about it at all. The fencing can't be played for a couple turns, but we don't want this to be live anyway and active first. We just want to see a counterspell. We obviously don't know what we'd be playing. We don't even know we're playing Valakut, so as an unknown opponent, we're good with this hand. So, grab Sleepy. Then he plays Steve. So if you guys don't know Steve, say hi to Steve. We always say hi to Steve. So play Blossom. This is normal, normal fairy stuff. If you watch my other videos, you see this start all the time. So he plays Explorer. This is one good reason we play Spell Snare. He only plays like Steve's and Explorer for 2 mana stuff. If you don't catch one of these, it stinks because Spell Snare becomes pretty much useless other than a Pitch Subtlety or something like that, or Force Negation, which we're not playing main board. But it is one of those things where this Spell Snare is weak in this matchup. So we just land go. We land. So Sleepy is so important here because it ups our fairy count to where on turn 4 now we can sprite for 4. We're very happy with that. We get fencing and do this. And then if he tries to draw a card, we can catch up with him so he doesn't get too far ahead and just play Mastermind. So what we're worried about here is his turn 4 stuff. We're thinking Dryad. He plays Wish, so a lot of these decks play Wish. They'll grab Scapeshift out of the board. They'll grab Dryad out of the board. They'll grab whatever they need out of the board. They'll play some of their main card. They'll play some of their main board stuff in the sideboard and just go grab it. They'll play like a Walking Beltista because if the game goes super long, they'll do that. Blood Moon. They'll try to Blood Moon people out sometimes. Just a whole lot of stuff. I've played multiple games where I just let them let the wish go off because I want to see what they're playing and I want to be able to see what they're doing. That's not a good idea because sometimes they'll grab something and they'll have other things in their hand that can protect whatever, and it's just better to counter the wish, in my opinion. So most of the time. There are times late game if they're like super resource limited and you can win next turn, you let the wish go off to deal with the threat that comes out of their board. But the problem is sometimes the threat they'll go grab like Thrun, which if you don't know what Thrun does, he's an uncounterable 4/4 for 4. That comes out of the board. Like sometimes it's unstoppable. Thrun is so good against us. We do have ways to deal with him. He has hexproof, I believe. Can't be targeted by spells. But we have ways to deal with that. We have like edicts and stuff. So Thrun's not as good as it once was. But we don't want to deal with that stuff. But he just does that. We sprite. It's like, get out of here, Wish. So we have a choice here. I can add to the board with Faerie Mastermind, or I can untap Sleepy. I think Sleepy is the conservative play. I think it's the efficient play to do 5 damage this turn. On the other hand, it gives us 5 damage onto a 4-turn clock for him, possibly a 3-turn clock, because we'll do 5. I can play Mastermind possibly, or Snapcaster, adding 3 next turn with the Faerie that comes off of Summoning Sickness. So we'll be able to do all this. So attack for 5 here is good. So, and our opponent just concedes at this point. He had nothing going on, you know. Now, lo and behold, if he Dryads, I kill the Dryad. I'm going to have 8 damage next turn because I'll play the Mastermind. And then if he tries to draw, we then do this. I don't know what he has in his hand, but he's probably looking for 5 mana to be able to do multiple things, or he doesn't have land. So this land, the thing about Valakut in general is it is driven by land. He needs 5 mountains plus Valakut to turn on Valakut, and he didn't see those lands. So we're happy to be here. He's dead in 3 turns. We have a removal for anything he could do, and then Mastermind for any draws or anything else like that. So we're happy to take this win. So we'll go to game 2 now. All right, so we're here. He then on the play. We don't know we have a Delta, but we have removal, a Dress Down, an Aether Gust, and a Snapcaster Mage. Not the greatest hand in Magic history, I'll tell you that. It's slow, but he can only do so many things. We have this to be able to put anything he plays before on curve, but before us. We can put it back in the top of his library. We can Dress Down to stall him out for a turn. We can Snapcaster to start, do either one of these things again, and eat it to get rid of a creature and start a clock possibly. And then we have 3 land. So we're just going to have to draw our way out of this. Because it's a good hand. It's slow, and we don't know. We don't have a good line of how things are going to turn out, which happens a lot actually. Believe it or not. So he suspended a Search for Tomorrow, so that's going to come off in a turn or 2. We go ahead and Delta. Yeah, he Steves. Hi, Steve. So we then just grab a Watery Grave. We don't have anything else to do. We just kind of let Steve do his thing. He's a homeboy. So he wanted the land before he valued the land other than the attacking. I don't know if that's always the right choice. So he Searched for Tomorrow. He gets another land. Hi, Steve. So we just throw a Snapcaster out there for funsies. So start a clock. We need something. We need something that gets us there eventually. So we need some kind of clock. We need him to do something actively. So we attack. We expect a block sack. We're fine with that. We're not mad about that at all. We then play Sleepy. We're good. So he untaps. Now what he does have that he didn't have last time, he has 4 mountains and he has 5 lands. So we have to start thinking that if he has Valakut, this is a problem. Dryad is the main thing of this. We have to deal with this as soon as possible. The biggest question here is, do I drown or do I Aether Gust this? For whatever reason. Aether Gust gets around it gets around anything that makes things uncounterable, it gets around basically. So it gets around Cavern of Souls and things like that. Now he doesn't have that, so we're just going ahead and drown it. Veil of Summer hurts here a lot. You'll find yourself getting Veil of Summer in that position a whole lot, and it stinks. It really, really stinks when it does happen. So, but that's also where, if we think he's playing Veil of Summer, like the dress down becomes really, really nice. So, but you have to worry about this too, because if you dress down here, Sleep Curse Fairy loses its ward, loses flying, loses the ability to untap as well. So this thing becomes vulnerable if you dress down at the wrong time. So he plays Steve. Hi, Steve. So he blocks sacks again to go grab another, probably forest or another mountain, who knows. So he has 5 mountains, so if he plays a Valakut and then plays a mountain, he will start doing damage to us. So one thing about Valakut is it checks upon resolution. So the Valakut triggers will stack, and then each individual trigger will then check to see if there's adequate amount of mountains to produce the damage, and then if there is, it does happen. If it's not, it doesn't. So it's very, very important that you guys know that. Sometimes killing the Valakut is not the way to go about the idea. Sometimes killing the mountain is the best idea. So here we go. Get another Dryad. We have another choice to either Aether Gust or Dress Down. He then puts us on the bottom, so I'm like thinking, like, why would he, I was thinking he was going to put it on top and then I just edict it away later, but like, it's good. Like, Dryad is definitely good. I'm not saying he's drawing the best either, because he's not. So here, so we get another choice. We have 3 2-mana casting costs. Do I start beating or do I play other things? So we choose to tap. He then chooses to cycle. So if I would have had a Mastermind, I still wouldn't have played the Mastermind here, because I feel like Edict is very important here, because if he untaps and plays like Primetime, we have to get rid of that Primetime immediately. Or I dress down and then Edict the next turn. Probably the latter. I probably dress down and then Edict. So again, he's kind of screwed, and he's just not drawing well. So he flooded here hard. He's probably drew 3 lands in a row, which his deck is land heavy. He's probably playing 26, 28 land, in this deck. Maybe more, maybe less. I don't know exactly how many lands they play, but I do know they play a significant amount. And we're really just good here. If he does nothing, we Bowmaster's in, and we start chipping away, and we swing for 5. He's dead in 3 turns, because we do a damage, and then the only way he's going to get out of this is to draw more cards through cycling and things like that. So Bowmaster is just going to eat him up in that regard. He plays Primetime, I dress down, then Edict. Like, he's really not in a good place. The only thing that he can really do at this point is draw Wish. He draws Wish, he grabs some sideboard tech, he then plays it, but again, I have Dress Down, I have Edict, Bowmasters. So I think Dress Down is just really good meta call right now. It deals with extremely, like, everything. It deals with our Saga tokens. It just stops things from EBTing, or ETBing, for that one split second to where they can't go in. Because if he gets Primetime, he can go grab 2 Valakuts, or a Valakut and a mountain that goes off, and then starts, obviously he starts doing damage to Sleepy, like which he can easily pay for because he's flooded and has a bunch of mana. Sleepy's not necessarily awesome in this matchup because he's not using spells to get rid. He's not using lightning bolts to trigger the ward. He's just using a trigger off of the mountains for Valakut. So really, his cost, if the Valakut would happen to get countered or whatever, he doesn't care. He just pay for it. It's not like he uses a spell for it. So anyway, that's where we're at. That's a review. Hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. Definitely like and subscribe. Throw a comment down in the comments if you'd like. Like I said, the deck is on Stream Decker and down in the description. So anyway, have a good one.